All right, everyone ready? Let's go. Okay, so welcome back everyone once again, back with Dr. John Demartini one more time. The agenda for today's meeting is Dr. John Demartini, who is one of the world's best coach on the law of attraction. You know him from the movie The Secret. He's trained more than 1 billion people all over the world on law of attraction through his course called the BreakThrough Experience, which from my point of view is the most powerful law of attraction course in the world because it talks about a hidden frequency inside us called values. And nobody on this earth speaks as good about values and understands and explains mathematically and scientifically as Dr. John Demartini does. As some of you know, we've had the privilege of he saying yes to us for our community for a private course of the BreakThrough Experience on 26th and 27th of January. All of you have already registered for that. Those of you who've not, no problem. But because some of you have registered for that today, Dr. John Demartini himself is going to give you clarity about what is this course all about, what are the results you're going to get out of it, and the best part is those of you who've not even heard about the results from that course, you're going to hear some amazing stories. How many of you are ready? Awesome. So Dr. Demartini, may I please invite you on stage? I'm also unmuting you. Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Demartini, for coming to our channel live once again. Everyone, please unmute yourself. Say a big thank you and I love you to Dr. Demartini one more time. Let's go, everyone.
Thank you, and I love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you
Love
so
you.
much.
I love you, Dr.
Thank you,
John.
Shami.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gratitude.
All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here again. Most of the people that you see right now, Dr. Demartini, are people who've already registered with us for the BreakThrough Experience. And it'll be lovely right now. And we've got hundreds of people watching right now on YouTube Live. Some of them have registered, some of them not. But it'll be great to start with firstly thanking you so much. I know you're a busy man right now. You're in Sri Lanka on your ship, traveling all over the world, and yet you've taken the time for coming and joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's I'm the one that's blessed. So I just got back and I'm here and I have the opportunity to be with you. So thank you.
Thank you. I understand you were surfing this morning.
I had the opportunity to go surfing, so I grabbed it.
Wow. So look at that, everyone. 68 years old and surfing. Can you imagine that? Even I couldn't do that. That takes some power. This is amazing inspiration. So Dr. Demartini, we'd love to know what is the BreakThrough Experience course all about and how can it help us all?
Since I was 18 years old, I had a dream to master my life. To me, mastery of life is the empowerment and mastery of each of the primary areas of life. I wanted to create original ideas that served human beings across the world. I wanted to have a global business. I want to have financial independence. I want to have a global family, which is one of the reasons I live on the ship called the world. I wanted to have social influence and meet some of the most amazing movers and shakers and hang out with them and consult with them and work with them. I want to have a vital body that's still cranking, like surfing. And I wanted to contribute to inspiration around the world. And I've been blessed to do all these. And so in the pursuit of that mastery, I wanted to learn the principles and methods and accumulate them over the last 50 years that will stand the test of time. So the information that I've wanted to study is that which will stand. That's led me to study many, many disciplines to extract and distill the primary principles, the most important universal laws, to use as a foundation for teaching. In the pursuit of this, about 34 or 5 years ago, I was flying to go speak in Canada. And on the flight, I was meditating, which I do. And I received a vision that I sketched.
Wow.
And I heard a message that I summarized and wrote. And the breakthrough experience was one of those pieces, the message.
Oh, wow.
It said, an idea whose time has come. Within the tiny acorn lies a mighty oak.
Oh, wow.
So the breakthrough experience was started then. And I've been blessed to do it 1,000 and present it 1,166 times now.
Wow.
And I think in 88 countries.
Wow.
And a lot of people have attended. So that gives some background on why it came about. Now, I've been also working on what is it that makes an individual live congruently and excel and incrementally build momentum and achieve? And what is it that stops people from doing that?
Right.
Why do people say, I want to do this, but then they don't get around to doing it? And that led me to values, the significance of living in alignment and congruently with what we value most.
Right.
So the breakthrough experience is a condensation and summary of the 50 years of learning in the pursuit of mastery and mastering and maximizing human awareness and potential.
Wow.
So it's the principles that will be mind-blowingly useful, and it's going to shatter some myths. I asked people at the end of the breakthrough experience, how many of you learned something this weekend you could have gone your entire life and would never have learned if you hadn't been here? Every hand goes up every time.
Wow.
So I feel confident that there's original thinking there. But it will shatter a lot of myths that people carry. And sometimes that shocks them because they realize that, as Paul Dirac, the Nobel Prize winner, said, it's not that we know so much, it's that we know so much that isn't so. A lot of misinformation that we run our lives by. So this is a distillation of cleaning out the misinformation so we can have some solid information to build a foundation to achieve by.
Wow.
So I'm going to develop the breakthrough experience, and I'm going to give principles. The morning session is going to be principles. And I doubt if anybody's going to question those principles by the time they're done. Nobody questions it. They're just straightforward principles that you know this is solid. And it's not something people have heard before, a lot of it. Then in the latter part of that morning, I'm going to actually help them go through the value determination process and make distinctions, because most people don't know what they value.
Right.
I've been doing value determination processes for 45 years, and I've only found one that had absolute congruency, one woman, and it was in Israel. It's the only individual in 45 years.
Wow.
So I feel confident to say that what you think is important to you is rarely truly the thing that you're actually living. You know, I ask people sometimes, how many want to be financially independent? They all put their hands up. And then when I ask them how many are, a lot of them put their hands down. And then what happens is they want it, when they get money, they want to buy consumables that depreciate and go down in value instead of buying assets that accumulate and give them independence.
Wow.
So they say they want financial independence, but they're actually living by buying consumables. And they keep struggling because they live beyond their means with that.
Yeah.
And it goes down in value. So the section on values is about getting clear about what's really important to you. Because until you're honest with yourself, you're going to pursue things that you think are important, and you'll be banging your head against the wall, wondering why you're not staying focused. So if you've ever had challenges staying focused, I'm going to explain why and what to do about it. If you've ever thought you're self-depreciating, I'm going to explain why and what to do about it. If you felt you sabotaged or had limited beliefs, I'm going to show you what they are, where they come from, and how to dissolve them.
Wow.
So it's very practical, but so you get the theory and the practical. I'm also going to shatter a lot of myths about always staying up and always positive, because sometimes people try to be one-sided all the time.
Yeah.
And they have a fantasy. So I'm going to crack some fantasies so they can get grounded in true objectives. I distinguish between fantasies and objectives. Objectives are achievable, fantasies aren't. Delusions aren't. So I'm going to shatter some fantasies that people have that they run their life by. In the afternoon, we're going to take everything in the principles, and now we're going to put it to action. And I'm going to introduce to them the demartini method, which is a method I've been working on since I was 18. I'm 68 now, so 50 years. That is a science, a reproducible science that dissolves the emotional baggage that people carry around. See, our subconscious mind stores all of our polarities. So all of our resentments, all of our fears, all of our doubts and insecurities and anxieties, all of our unclarities, all of our fantasies, all of our infatuations,
Right.
all of our delusions are stored in the subconscious mind and cause impulses and instincts to distract us from being present with what's true, what's authentic.
Right.
So I'm going to show them a science on how to reawaken authenticity and dissolve those distractions. Because anything you infatuate with or resent will occupy space and time in your mind and distract you and run your life. Most everybody's had a moment when they're highly infatuated with somebody and they couldn't sleep at night, or they're highly resentful to somebody and they couldn't sleep at night.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how to dissolve that. What it is, why it's there, how it comes about, how to dissolve it.
Wow.
I'm going to show you the difference between philias and phobias, which are fantasies and nightmares that distract people, things that keep them up all night, how to dissolve that. I'm going to show them how to have authenticity, gratitude, love, inspiration, enthusiasm, more certainty, and more presence in life.
Wow.
And the science, if they learn it and they apply it, will guarantee that outcome if they apply it. I've been doing that for many, many years. I've been teaching it clinically for 37 years.
Wow.
So I'm certain about the result. I'm also going to show you how to dissolve grief. If you've lost money, if you've lost a loved one or whatever, I'm going to show you how to dissolve grief. So it's gone.
Wow.
So there's going to be a lot of practical things in the program that's a methodical process that they can learn. So it's not just theory. It's not just, it's actually going to do it. Now I'm going to make people work. They're going to have to do the work. So it's not going to be a rah-rah session. I'm going to make them work. The principles are going to be solid. They're going to get their mind blown, and then they're going to end up working so they get to see the principles are true.
Absolutely. How many
And
of
I'll
you
hold
ready
them
to work
accountable
with
the
me?
best I can. Yeah, there's work there. Because, people sometimes want to hold on to their fantasy and then think that they're going to get somewhere without doing the work, but that's not real. Not my experience. You've worked and put a lot of hours into your mastery. I've done a lot too.
Yes.
I put in a lot of hours, and Tiger Woods puts in a lot of hours. He was telling us one time, he was on the ship and he was telling us that, he would put sometimes 8 or more hours a day in golfing as an average.
Whoa.
And that's sometimes 7 days a week. So you multiply it out, that's 60 hours just practicing golf a week.
Wow.
Same for Michael Jackson when he was doing his music, or Phelps when he's swimming, or Madonna when she performed. Almost anybody that excelled found what their mission was and got onto it and didn't allow themselves the distraction. So I'm going to show how to dissolve the distraction and get clear about the mission. I'm going to help people open their heart, because every time we're authentic, we get tears of gratitude to confirm it.
Mhm.
And a life that's got filled with tears of gratitude is a life that's more fulfilling, more meaningful. I'm going to explain what meaning is. I'm going to explain what intuition is and what impulses and instincts. People confuse gut instincts and gut impulses with intuition. I'm going to explain what the differences are and how to use them. I'm going to talk about how to go from survival to thrival, and how to be a mastery of destiny, not a victim of history. So if you're running a story about your excuses of why you're not where you want to be, I'm just going to confront them, because they're not going to get you anywhere. Running your story doesn't empower you.
Right.
Transforming the story into something you're grateful for empowers you. So I'm going to show you that process. That's the first day. The second day is
That's the
getting
first
clear
day.
about what you want to create. getting clear about what you want to create. You know, you want to live by design or you want to live by duty. If you live by duty, you're going to subordinate to the herd, and you're not going to get herd. You're either following a crowd or leading a crowd.
Yes.
So this program is for people that want to lead a crowd, not follow a crowd. They don't want to be part of the masses. They want to be part of the mastery. It takes no effort to be part of the masses. It takes some effort to be part of the mastery.
Yeah. Wow.
So I'm going to talk about what a difference is an objective, a goal, a spectrum of goals, and a fantasy. Because fantasies leave you questioning yourself, doubting yourself about the achievement, but not a true objective that's mitigated the risks. I'm going to distinguish those distinctions and help you write those and put those together so you can know the difference. Because if you have to ask a question whether it's real, it's not. There's no uncertainty.
Right.
You know, when you're writing down a mission statement and objectives, if it's true, you'll feel it's impossible for you not to fulfill them, and you'll feel it's your destiny to do so. So we're going to go through a manifestation formula, which is one of the reasons I got asked to be in The Secret, because I've been teaching that for 50 years now. So I was teaching the manifestation formula for a long time. Now, there's things in the movie The Secret that they left out a lot of bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Because you can't take all the information that each of those teachers had and edit it down to an hour and a half and expect to get it all in there. So I'm going to add some, you know, the stuff that's left out to some degree and make some very strong distinctions and how the secret behind the secret left out of the secret kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
And the formula I've been using since I was 17. So it's a very useful formula that you can apply. And I'm also going to talk about your mission. And, you know, the difference between a neat idea that you got a little high on and a real mission. I'm a man on a mission. An individual on a mission is going to be pursuing something, and they're going to continue to do it.
Right.
You know, Charlie Munger was interviewed recently by Charlie Rhodes, I think. And they asked him, you know, you're 98, Charlie. You're 98 years old. Are you going to ever stop? And he says, why? Why would I stop? If I'm doing something I love doing, and it's the thing I love most,
Right.
Why would I distract myself by doing something less that I love?
Wow.
And a mission is something so deeply meaningful that it's inspiring, and it brings the tears out even thinking about it.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to talk about a mission. Now, some of the people that have attended, there's all different types of people. I had a 7-year-old girl that was sitting in the back. I had a breakthrough in Melbourne, Australia, and her father was there, and he brought a 7-year-old daughter to the breakthrough experience. Normally, it's for teenagers and above.
Yeah.
And there's sometimes adult language in there because sometimes there's issues that we have to deal with sexuality and things that, you know, some people have been incested and beaten, and, you know, so I have to sometimes get, you know, and deal with that.
Yeah.
But we had this 7-year-old girl that was there. I never saw her from the stage because she was many rows back, but her father I could see. And at the end of the program, well, during the program, at the end, she decided she wanted to be a speaker and an author. She liked what I was doing. She got inspired by it. And the following year, she came back. I came back to Melbourne the following year. So now she was 8.
8 years old.
And 8 years old. Well, just turning 8. She was almost 7, and now she's almost 8.
All right.
And she wrote a book called Start. In fact, you can go online and you can find her. But her name is Misha. Misha, Meesha.
Wow.
Her last name starts with an S. I'd have to look her up. Solaria. Misha Solaria. That's it. If you look up Misha Solaria, the book Start and demartini or whatever, you'll find it. And it's an interview. So at the following year, she came up. She had written the book. She was already speaking. And she came up and asked to present me the book. And I did a promotion for her book and let her speak.
Wow.
And She wrote a second book by the time she was 9, the third book time she was 12. She became the deputy mayor of Melbourne, Australia at 12 and was inspiring young kids in schools. And that's because she started applying some of the principles. Now she's a little older because she's now probably 16, I'm guessing, something like that. But she's done some extraordinary things because she applied authentically and lived as congruently as possible. So I've seen young people, 7, 8, 9. I've got 2 9-year-olds, one that went on to do a multi-million-dollar deal with Disney. I have another 9-year-old that went on to be on the front cover of Vogue magazine and have her own fashion line and was a multimillionaire at 15.
Wow.
So I've seen some amazing things. That's not the majority. You know, you have gradations of achievement, and you have some people that really excel.
Yes.
So it's not fair to say that's everybody's going to have that, but that's what happened. People take off and do things sometimes. But I also had a gentleman who, him and his father, at age 16, the son was 16. I don't know what the age of the father was. He was 40 or something, 35, 40 something. But they had a fist fight, a big fight. And they had a major knockdown fist fighting system, and the father kicked the young boy out of the house. So the boy was 16, he was kicked out of the house, and now he's 58, and he's never seen his father 42 years. He comes to the breakthrough experience, and I asked him, who does he have the biggest resentment to in his life? Because people in relationships and in marriages can accumulate some pretty good resentment sometimes, or maybe ex-relationships. But he was bitter to his dad, at least on the outside. His persona, his mask was angry, not the essence of his being. The essence of being loves, but the facade, the persona is angry.
Right.
So he did the demartini method. And we asked him, who does he have the biggest resentment to? And he said, my father. I said, well, then let's do the method on it to teach you how to dissolve that. So he worked, but he fought the process. He wanted to be right. He wanted to blame his father. People want to be victims of history. They want to drag on their story.
Right.
But I held him accountable and just said, listen, if you want to run this story, you're going to have the same outcome. You want to transform your life. Answer the questions that I'm asking you, and I guarantee a new life. So I asked him, what were the upsides and benefits of what happened? He couldn't see it. Even though he became a successful entrepreneur, even though he has a family of his own, even though he's very wealthy today, because he had to learn how to stand on his own 2 feet young,
Right.
he became an entrepreneur. He had to survive. So I finally asked him, if you had a magic wand, how would your father, how did you wish he would be at that moment? Well, I wish he'd have been gentle and kind to me. I said, if he had been gentle and kind, what would have been the drawback to you? Oh, there'd be no drawback. Well, that's a fantasy. So if he had been gentle and kind, what would have been the drawback? I can't see any. Well, that means you're refusing because you answered within a half a second, which means you didn't even look.
Right.
I said, did you have any other brothers or sisters? He said, I had a brother. Was your father aggressive to your brother? No, he was kind and gentle to my brother. Oh, so what's your brother doing today? Oh, he's still living at home. He's 40 years old. He's still living at home. He's never had a job. My father's been taking care of him. And he's waiting for my father to die so he can take over the small little place that he lived in. I said, so what you're saying is you wished your father was the way he was to your brother? He said, I did until just now. And he started crying. He said, wow. I said, your father believed in you or he wouldn't have been tough on you. He didn't believe in the other brother. He rescued him and kept him small. It's the challenges in life that make you do something amazing, not the support. So he broke through and had a big crying session. And I brought a surrogate over to have him chat as if he was talking to his father and say what he'd say now that he has a deeper understanding. And he said something to this man in the room, and the man said something back that just made him bawl for 20 minutes. And he really realized how much he cared about his dad after all, even though he lied to himself for all those years.
Wow.
So he left the seminar and he gave me a hug at the end. And he says, that was worth it.
Wow.
I've had anger and resentment to my father 42 years. I love my father right now. I've never felt that since I was a young boy.
Wow.
So when he got home at almost 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, he called his father that he hadn't talked to in all those years. His father was in a different time zone, hours different. When his father answered the phone, he said, "This is your son." He said, wow. I'd like to come see you, he said. He said, that would mean everything to me. I'd love to see you, son.
Oh, wow.
I'd love to hear all about your life. So on that Wednesday, he flew to see his father. He got there in the evening, and Thursday he spent the day with his father and then flew back out that night. He shared everything he wanted to share with his father, like he did with the man in the room.
Wow.
And what blew his mind is the man in the room, what he said, his father said. So when he left, he had a clear conscience.
Wow.
And sometimes we swear we would never be like somebody, and then we end up becoming just like them without realizing it. Because I had to make him accountable, to make him look at where he's done all the behaviors and where he's been aggressive. And he had to admit he'd been aggressive to his own son and to people at work. When he got back, the following day, his father died. 3 months later, he came to the Breakthrough Experience again, but he brought some people this time. And he introduced me to him. And he came up to me and gave me a big hug. He's a big guy. He said, Dr. demartini, if I had not been at the Breakthrough Experience, I would have lied to myself until my father died. I got to tell him I loved him before he died. And I think that's all he was waiting for.
Yes.
He felt he completed his life at that moment. So he died in inner peace.
Wow.
So his life changed. His father's life changed. The people he brought changed. Because they realized that we sometimes run a story that's not the truth. It's an incomplete awareness. So in the Breakthrough Experience, I help people see a bigger picture, a whole picture. And in every whole picture, there's love there. And anything we don't love runs our life. And anything we do love, we get to run. We get to be leader to that which we love. We get to be follower to that which we judge. Had another couple that came to the Breakthrough Experience. A man, the wife didn't come, the man come. And he just separated from his wife. And he was angry because she wasn't living up to his expectations. She was angry at him because he wasn't living up to expectations. And for some reason, they assumed that their values were right and the other person's values is wrong, and they're trying to fix each other, which is futile. Nobody's got right values or wrong values, just different. And if you don't know how to communicate what you value in terms of what other people value, you're going to want to fix people. And they don't want to be fixed. They want to be loved for who they are. And when you love them for who they are, they turn into who you love. So he came to the program, and he was getting ready to do the whole divorce process. He was thinking about being with other ladies. His wife was bitter, and it was a bit of a legal clash. I had him do the method on her. And by the time he finished, he realized he never really got to appreciate her. He kept having a fantasy of who she was supposed to be, and he was infatuated with the fantasy and judging her for not matching the fantasy, and never gave her a chance to be loved. And she had done the same. So when he dissolved all the judgments at that weekend and realized that this lady is amazing, and it's just the way he's communicating his false expectations, and he hadn't even given her a real chance. The moment he actually dissolved it, it was about 11:30 at night, she called him. and just said, no matter what we're going to do, no matter what you decide to do, I just want to tell you I love you. They're still together now.
Oh, wow.
They broke through the illusion.
Oh, wow.
They broke through the illusion. Now I have another guy in Sydney, Australia. He had a nice business. He was a coach, a teacher, an entrepreneur, a training program. And he was making about $40,000 a month, about $500,000 a year business, which is not a bad business for some coaches.
Yeah.
But he was frustrated because he had a much bigger vision. And he couldn't seem to get past it. He hit this plateau, and for 3 years, it just 40,000, 40,000, 40,000 a month. That's all he could get. So he came to the breakthrough experience, and he came up to me and he admitted this frustration. And I said, well, somewhere, whatever we do, it's because we believe that there's more advantages than disadvantages, or we wouldn't be doing it. So you must have some unconscious motive to do what you're doing. So I asked him, if all of a sudden you were to go past 40, what would you be frightened of? What would be the downsides? And he had never asked that question. And then all of a sudden he realized something his father said. See, his father was a very, very integral guy, but wasn't a businessman. He was an intelligent man, but not a businessman. And he told him that anybody that makes more than $40,000 is a crook.
Whoa.
And so I don't want you to be a crook, son. So in his mind, because he admired his father, he injected the values of his father into his mind. And so he inculcated that idea. If I make more than 40,000, I'm not going to be honored by my dad. And I'll be a crook. Now that's not true. It was just a belief system that his father had taken. And because he infatuated with his father and admired that in his father, he took it in, because anybody you admire, you inject the values of.
Wow.
And then that becomes the limiting belief. A limiting belief is nothing more than an injected value from some authority you've given power to.
Whoa.
So in the process of doing that, we did the demartini method on the father, on the things he admired, and we calmed down that and broke that illusion. We also took the things that he resented about his father, because he resented his father for not ever being more ambitious and making more income for the family.
Right.
So he took the resentment and the infatuation and dissolved them both that weekend. And when he did, he ended up appreciating his father. And he had been distanced from his father, even though he admired him, had been distant. They hadn't really interacted. And then now their relationship became closer. And when he got married, he was asked his father to be there, like he dreamed.
Right.
But what was most amazing is that the moment he cleared that belief system that he inculcated, he went to $200,000 over the next 3 months. It jumped up to 200,000.
Whoa.
So his business took off. Now I know that he's made at least $2 to $3 million in a year now doing his business. So that took the lid off him, the ceiling that he had on himself. So anything you infatuate with or resent occupies space and time in your mind and runs you. And just most people think, oh, I want to get rid of the negative side. But the positive fantasies that you admire about people can be just as limiting. Because if you admire somebody, you can take in their belief systems and they may not be in line with your values. And there's now an internal conflict. So we addressed that in the breakthrough experience.
Wow.
I had another guy. How about this one? I had a guy that was a hedge fund manager. And he had a net worth of 750 million US dollars.
Wow.
He was quite wealthy. Wasn't quite a billionaire, but he was on his way to being a billionaire. But he had a partner in his business. And his partner, in his eyes, sometimes went more risky than he'd like to with investments. He didn't like some of his approach and gambling with people's monies, and he didn't like stretching the legal aspects for taxes. So the guy was a little bit on the edge, but he was making good money, and it was a successful firm. I mean, $750 million is pretty good income, no matter who you are. Well, one day he went down to go to Starbucks to get some coffee, and he'd been out exercising. And he was stopped by to get some coffee. And then he gave him the credit card, and they said, sorry, but the credit card's been declined. And he goes, it's an American Express. I can put $1 million on this. How can it be declined? It's not possible. It must be an error. Try it again. It's declined. So he gets on the phone and he calls the bank and said, what the hell's, why is the credit card declining? He said, because there's no money in your bank. He said, what do you mean there's no money in your bank? He said, your bank is cleaned out. You authorize it to be cleaned out. We have your signature. Whoa. So his partner was knowing that he was about to be investigated by the SEC for doing something that was not kosher, and it was a bit fraudulent and too edgy, and the tax authorities were coming. So he took all of the client's money, all the money and his partner's money, and disappeared, went to a non-extradition country in Turkey and disappeared.
Oh boy, 750.
So this guy's cleaned out. Imagine being $750 million and then all of a sudden cleaned out, no money, zero, pop, done. Mm-hmm. So he's like angry, bitter, shocked. You can imagine what the man would be. Yeah. So he comes to the breakthrough experience because somebody said, go see demartini.
Right.
Now, he's got hypertension. He's got all this problem while he's working, and he's under high stress. You don't run a hedge fund without high stress. So he comes there, and I put him up in front of the group. And I said, is anybody here having any grief or loss of anything? Usually we do a death, or somebody's lost a child or lost a parent or somebody. And nobody had any deaths except this guy had a loss of money. So we put him up there and showed him how to dissolve the grief, because he was pretty well angry and grieving. In 48 minutes, I had him go in there and say, so what exactly did you lose? $750 million. What did you gain from that? What do you mean, what did I gain? What did you gain? I didn't gain anything. I lost. No. I'm asking you a very important question. What did you gain? You can never have a loss without a gain. It's never one-sided anything. What's the gain? I don't see any gain. Look again. And finally, he just said, I did gain something. What is it? I was in a marriage that I haven't wanted to be in. It's been declining for 11 years. And the last 5 years, all I could think of is, I wish I could be out of this marriage. But I didn't want to get out of the marriage because it means I'd have to give her $385 million to do it. And he says, I didn't want to give her 385 because then I lose half of my fortune and I give it to her, and she hasn't done anything. And now the truth is, he was bitter, and she did. And with her in his life, he helped build that business. He didn't honor that. That's all. But he didn't want to give it up. So he was in a marriage that he hated to be in, and he didn't want to be with his wife, and he resented it because he didn't want to give her $385 million. So I said, so what did you gain? He said, when I lost all my money, she walked away and took the kids. Free.
Whoa, it got
I got out of my marriage. She divorced me and didn't get anything. And I said, so what's that worth? He said, 385 million. So let's put that on the other side. Let's put that on the other side of the equation now. Oh, so now instead of 750, now we're at 385, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, what else did you gain? He said, that woman back there, my new girlfriend, she loves me even if I don't have all the money. I said, don't be fooled. She loves you because you have potential to earn it. I said, don't be so foolish. She knows you'll probably get a little bit of that back. But she's going like this.
Yeah, Indu, I
and he said, well, but still, yeah, she's acknowledging it. But he is now realizing that he's loved. And he's always been loved for his money because he was infatuated with money. So now he's got a woman that actually cares about him, and he feels affection for it. And he says, that is worth, I said, how much? And she said, yeah, how much?
She's right there.
How much? How much? So she wrote down, or he wrote down, at least 100 million. She said, that's a good start. So so now it's 485 million balancing out the thing. I said, what else did you gain? He said, I gained my health. I've dropped almost 45 pounds. My blood pressure's back to normal. I'm now drinking juices and doing exercise and doing yoga and breathing and all kinds of stuff that this new girl's brought into my life. If I would have continued on the path I was doing, I was taking amphetamines. I was sometimes doing long hours. I probably would have had a shortened life and I might have died because I had heart palpitations and arrhythmias. They're gone.
Wow.
I said, so you might have died. I said, how much is that worth? He said, that's priceless. No, give me a dollar value. He said, at least at least $250 million. Okay, put it on the thing there. I said, right now we're getting closer to the 750 million, aren't we? He says, we are. I'm already starting to feel less angry. I said, what's another benefit? And he paused, and then tears came out of his eyes. He said, if the guy had not taken my money and disappeared, with what he was doing, I would have been implicated and I would be in prison. But by him taking my money,
Whoa.
he's the crook. So I'm, with all my knowledge, more legal knowledge, because I've gone through a lot of legal understanding, more government knowledge, more SEC knowledge. My knowledge has gone skyrocketing since this event. I have all the clients saying, what do we do? They haven't left me. They're angry at him, not me, because I'm the one who got taken. If he had not taken it from me, I would have been implicated and I would have been in prison.
Wow.
And probably died early. And all of a sudden he said, that tips it. And this is actually an investment, this experience.
Wow.
Because now I get to be myself, be integral, have somebody that loves me, and develop a company with integrity and do something with fair exchange and not rip off the government or rip off people.
Wow.
He said, that is worth everything. He says, right now I'm feeling grateful. I'm grateful for the guy. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for everybody doing what they did. I see that my unconscious motives created this outcome because I've been whispering in my head, I don't want to be with this person as my business partner. But I've been making so much good income, and attached to my income, I just kept forestalling it.
Whoa.
All of my intuitive processes that I've been wanting to do finally came to the surface by this man's act. And I will build a new company and it will go back up and we'll build our wealth again and all that will happen again. But this time with knowledge of not to go to those extremes and to make sure that I'm doing.
Right.
Money with meaning leads to philanthropy. Money without meaning leads to debauchery. So at the end, I said, are you grieving? He says, absolutely not. Are you grateful? Absolutely yes. I said, the quality of your life is based on the quality of the questions you ask. I'm going to teach you in the Breakthrough Experience a new set of questions. It's going to make you look through a different set of eyes and you're going to see a different world out there.
Wow.
So it's not just a rah-rah session. Now I could give lots of stories, but those are just some that off the top.
Wow. Oh my God, that's so far the best perspective I've got about the breakthrough experience. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. The first day, I understand we're going to go through principles. After that, in the evening, we're going to go through from afternoon onwards, recognizing our values, understanding and determining what our values are. And then once we've understood what our values are, the next morning we'll go through creating our mission, the manifestation formula. We apply the demartini method and we go through the kind of experiences that you've spoken
Well,
about.
the demartini method's the afternoon of the first day,
First day.
that whole evening, because because it covers all the principles. All the principles will be explained while you do the method. We're going to be doing it. So the principles are solid. You'll know them. Now, the question is, are you willing to be integral with yourself and answer the questions? That's the biggest struggle people have in the breakthrough experience. Can they be integral with themselves? Can they face it? You know, you can walk on fire. You can do bungee jumping. You can do rope climbing. You can do all kinds of little gimmicks for courage. but those are insignificant compared to the courage to be yourself. Question is, are you willing to be yourself? If you know thyself, be thyself, and love yourself, it's a new life. So that's what you're going to be testing in your own life in the breakthrough experience. Are you really willing to be authentic? That's the question.
Thank
Or
you.
are you going to if you're going to hold on to your facade out of fear or comfort?
I'm going to ask on your behalf. How many people here promise, type in IP, I promise to the doctor here that we're going to be authentic. We're going to be honest with ourselves when we answer those questions, and we're going to take our life to the next level, and we're going to achieve something that we just keep thinking about and feeling about in our deepest desires. But now it's time to live our authentic self and really have that life that we deserve to. But for that, you'd have to be honest with yourself. Are you ready? Because I'm ready to be honest. I'm going to be learning with all of you. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And by the way, I'm not always a nice person. Sometimes I get pretty tough on people. So I'm going to be like your dad's not always nice. I have to be confrontive sometimes, because when you're lying to yourself, and I'm going to make you face that sometimes. So just know that it's, I'm not going to just put on a smile all the time. I'm going to make sure that you get the job the best I can. Now, I know there's going to be quite a few people on there, and I'm not going to be able to give everybody individual attention for hours and all that. That's just not realistic. So I'm going to ask you to mediate some of the questions for efficiencies, but I'm going to teach you. And I know that the information will be useful the rest of your life.
Thank you.
That's the question. When you're ready, you'll apply it. If you're not, then you may delay. I have had people come to the breakthrough. I'm going to share another story.
Please do.
I had a guy in Denver, Colorado, who was an alcoholic, and he was into denial, and he was into lying, and he was doing all kind of stuff to dodge facing his issue. And I told him, I said, you have an unconscious motive to do this drinking. I'm not judging it. I just want you to become aware of what the real motive is inside, and what you're actually doing for yourself. Because I want you to know that you're not a powerless individual. You're a powerful individual. And anyway, we had a pretty good rough dialogue. And he walked out of the class because he didn't want to face the truth about his nature at the time. So he went and left the class about 10:30 at night because it was confrontive. It made him look at himself. And I wasn't judging what he was doing, because I know that everything's a strategy. Everything people do is a conscious or unconscious strategy to get something they want, but they don't even know what it is sometimes. So he went home, and his wife said to him when he got home, he said, "What are you doing home?" Because she's the one that sent him there, because she'd been to the breakthrough experience. And she was at a point where she didn't want to have to deal with his drinking.
Oh.
So if you're not going to break through, I'm considering moving on in this relationship. So she said, if you don't go back and finish, or you don't finish this exercise, I'm going to leave. I'm not going to do this. So she gave him the ultimatum. I didn't. She gave him. So he didn't want to lose her, because he was really quite, dependent on her. So he sat down and worked till 3 or 4 in the morning and finished the exercise. And he broke through.
Wow.
Now, what was interesting is his father used to beat him, and his father was an alcoholic. And so when he was told, anytime he didn't do what his father said, he'd hit him, sometimes with a baseball bat. So he grew up angry at his father, which is always the subdiction to balance out the addiction. And he, at age 14, stole his father's truck in defiance, went out with his buddy and got drunk, and then got in a truck crash, and his best friend, died. So he felt he killed his brother, his best friend. And when he was in the hospital and with the police there, his father found out, came down there and hit him and slapped him across the face. "You destroyed my truck. Don't come home." So he had a subdiction against his father, resentment to his father. And whenever there's a subdiction, you create an addiction. to get away from that which you're wanting to avoid. So he was addicted to this alcohol. What he did is he cleared the anger on his father and saw a higher order to it because he became independent. When he loved his father, with the help of his wife doing it, because he didn't finish it in front of me, he broke through. Now, I didn't see him the rest of that time, but a year later, I came back to Denver, and there he was. And he had accumulated, he had done the demartini method on anybody that he had resentment on in his life. He went ahead and did the method on it to clear it all. And he said, I haven't drank since the night I ran out of your seminar. That was the last time I ever drank again, because I'm no longer bitter to my father, and I'm no longer running away from something. He says, and I want to show you something. And he pulled out an entire file of 200 demartini method sessions he had done on everybody that he felt that he had not expressed a feeling of love for. Anybody who was cocky to and put down and judged, anybody that he felt that he had done something and he felt guilty about it. He just cleared it with a method on everything.
Wow.
A different man. He wasn't drinking anymore.
Wow. This is just awesome. Whoa. This is what we are going to experience in the next 2 days. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. We are all excited, and we promise you to be authentic. We'll answer all the questions honestly. I will personally do that. And before I go, would it be okay if I ask a few people to share how their experiences and how committed they are before you go, so I can have them give you that commitment personally? Would that be okay, sir?
Sure.
Thank you. So first, I'm going to invite Indu and Imran, and also because I want to thank Imran, Mudit. Mudit is not here right now. He's in New Zealand right now, our other partner. But Imran, thank you. Indu, thank you for making this happen. It would have never been possible without all of you together. So thank you so much. Indu, you want to say something? What you heard about what is the breakthrough experience?
No, it's mind blowing, Dr. Demartini. I'm seriously looking forward to it. We have booked ourselves in a hotel. I mentioned that to you in Taj as well. And we are super looking forward to it. We are all set to learn. And we promise we are going to be completely honest.
So just to
Fantastic.
clarify, we've literally booked ourselves into a hotel, and not just me and Indu. Many of us have done that for full 2 days so that we can really be completely with you that time, 100% without any distraction.
Well, if you've got kids running around and dogs barking and things of that nature, it is easy to get distracted by. You have to tie them all up and put them in a garage or something like that. But if you do go to a hotel, many people have done that, because then they're in a different environment and they can focus. So that's pretty smart, actually.
That's true. Thank you so much. Thank you, Imran.
Yes, thank you. I'm the one's thanking you. So I look forward to seeing you in a few days. I think it's Thursday it's coming up. And I'll be leaving Sri Lanka and sailing over to the Maldives probably about that time. So I'm looking forward to it. Get ready to put your thinking caps on. You're about to learn some things that are probably going to challenge your entire paradigm. So be prepared for that.
Absolutely.
But it will be eye-opening, I'm certain.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You want to say something before he leaves? I know his time is precious. He's from Sri Lanka right now.
Really looking forward. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really looking forward.
Thank you, Imran. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are all of you in India right now? Is everybody in some part of India that's on?
Most
Doctor,
are from India.
Everyone, maybe you should come to the gallery view. I'll show you. Here we go.
Yes, I'm on gallery. I'm on gallery now. I'm looking now. I'm just sailing through. I'm in Sri Lanka now, but I was in India for a couple of weeks there almost, in various cities, Cochin and Goa and many different places, and Mumbai. And all I know is that I had a great time in India. The people are lovely. The food it can be fattening if you're not careful. I mean, the amount of food that they give you. I had a leading celebrity chef that came on the ship here, and he made about 100 dishes. And of course, you take one bite of each, you've overeaten. So, but you can't not try at least one bite of each, because it's all amazing flavor. Now my stomach was a little distended and I felt a little bit full, but you don't forget India. You don't forget India. So thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. We'll just have one last sharing before we go. If we still have 3 minutes to go, would that be okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Jay, what would you like to share? Jay, you raised your hands right now. Where are you gone? Disappeared again. Jay?
He was very much here.
He was here. He was raising his hands. I don't know where he disappeared. Okay, so let's go to Sandeep. Hey, Sandeep, what would you like to share?
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Demartini. I have been hearing since last 7 years, and Mitesh, you as well, and you are just bringing everything on this planet Earth for each one of us, Indian style, Indian time, and Indian everything. So really wanted to see. Thank you so much, Dr. Demartini. That it is blessing that we got from universe that you will be training us live in next couple of days. Thank you so much. That's overwhelming for me, seeing you live, to whom I just wanted to copy since last 6 to 7 years, and it would be a great opportunity for us. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep.
Right. Fantastic. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you. With that, Dr. John Demartini, thank you so much for your time. We are absolutely looking forward to it. And a lot of people attending right now over here from Delhi, from Kuwait, from Rajasthan, from Mumbai, from Bangalore. I'm just reading out the names for you. These are all different parts of the country that people are attending from right now. And 99% of them are attending the Breakthrough experience. So we look forward to seeing you there. Please do take care of your health. I know you're traveling in different time zones all the time. So do take rest, and we'll also take rest. I've given people a list of preparation to do. No alcohol before the day, eat light food during the day. Like, I've given them a host of things. Keep a dictionary ready for words like subdiction. I've given them those instructions too. Any last instruction that you could give us to just keep us ready?
Just have some water there. And I don't give a lot of breaks. So bring a catheter and an IV. That's the best thing I can do.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. John. Thank you for agreeing to work with us in the Indian time zone. And I personally want to say this with everyone over here. Guys, I want you to know this Breakthrough Experience course, if you go to his website, is 1,000 euros. So it's close to more than 1 lakh rupees after tax and all. And we spoke to Dr. Demartini personally. He said many people in our community over here in Platinum and the IMK community wouldn't be able to have really afforded that. But I really wanted all of us to learn, to grow with him. And how many of you can see the value of what he has is deep? Like, it's nothing you've heard before. Type an I in the chat window, right? Like, this is heart touching. This is not just workshop. And I wanted all of us to get this. And we requested Dr. Demartini to please give us the opportunity to get all of us together in a way that we can all contribute the fees and yet make it affordable for all of us. And he agreed. So, Doctor, thank you. Thank you so much. We can't express our gratitude enough to you. We love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you in the next few days.
Absolutely.
Have a great evening. And thank you for allowing us to have this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. So everyone, please unmute one last time. I love you and thank you to Dr. Demartini. Before
I
you.
love you,
Dr.
Demartini.
Demartini.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much.
Love you, Dr. Demartini.
Love you, love you.
Thank you so much.
Love you,
Love
Lord.
you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Love you, love you,
I'm
love
also
you.
Love you.
Thank you.
Bye.
So much again.
Thank you. Bye.
See you Thursday.
See you Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mitesh. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Whoa, that was crazy. How many of you thought that was absolutely crazy? Unmute yourself. Give me one word. How are you feeling?
Excited.
Superb.
Mind-boggling.
Really excited.
Thank you so much.
Excited.
Mind
It was
blowing.
amazing.
Thank you to both of you, Intu ma'am and
Getting
Thank
good
you.
experience.
Blowing. Very good.
Lovely.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. The pure intention here is just to make sure that we all learn together, all grow together. And looking forward to see every one of you on Thursday morning. Those of you who've not got the opportunity to join yet, I'm going to make sure that we have the link quickly for you in the chat window in case some of you have not yet joined. And here's the link on the chat window here as well, which is breakthrough experience, which is Dr. John DeMartini's course, close to 1 lakh rupees. Right now, we have got it at 85%. In the next 5 minutes, once we leave this webinar, the reason we are going to increase the price is so that it becomes more affordable, it becomes more doable for me, because we've invested more than 50 lakh rupees just to bring him here. And he was gracious enough to give me the blessing that it's okay for you to contribute the team and make it small enough for them to make sure that everybody is able to join. But now we're going to take it beyond that break-even point with all your permission and your blessings. And that is why after this video ends today, this seminar ends today, we're going to increase that price from 15 to 20,000 rupees. So please make sure that you take the advantage now. Don't lose out on an opportunity of a lifetime. But before we leave, would it be okay if some of you would love to share your experience, not just about attending the program on Thursday, but how are you feeling today? Like, what did you learn today? I learned a lot. How many of you think this man has the ability to like touch your heart? By the way, how many of you cried? I couldn't stop it. Like, I had tears in my eyes two times, and it was absolutely berserk. How many of you would love to share your experience before you go? Please raise your virtual Zoom hand, and I'd love you to share something. Okay, so let's have Dharmendra. We've not heard from Dharmendra before. Yes, Dharmendra, go for it.
Yes, sir.
Hi.
As we say, Dr. John DeMartini is a live library and live example.
Yeah.
So whenever he speaks from the heart, right?
Absolutely.
And what he was telling, dissolving the grief, it is a big obstacle in the life which unknowingly we people are doing. Unknowingly, we are not able to dissolve those grief. So thank you so much, sir, for giving this opportunity, Mitesh, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so those of you who want to join, like I said, we've already shared the link in the chat window with all of you. Yes, the link is in the chat window for all of you. Those of you who are watching on YouTube right now, the link is here, miteshkhatri.com/dmartini. To make it easy so that you don't make any spelling mistakes, we've not added E, this is D Martini. Okay, so let's have some more people sharing here before we go. We've got Seema. Yes, Seema, what would you like to share? How was your experience today? Let me unmute you again. You got it. Yes.
Hi, Mitesh. Hi. Actually, I had got this information from Sumit Upreti as well that we are going to have this workshop. Yeah, he's with us. I can see him here. And I was procrastinating, like I should join or not, because I'm not available for those 2 days. Anyways, it was lurking in my mind that I should attend his seminar. I should talk to him somehow. I should see him live or whatever. And pop-up came your email that we are having this session. And quite surprisingly, I had some other occupations today and they all got cancelled.
Whoa.
I mean, yeah. And I arrived at home just before 5 o'clock and I saw your mail and just I logged in. So it was like the support from the universe that I was wishing it and I was getting it. Just as Dr. DeMartini was telling that we think and we get it.
Absolutely.
How much we are devoted to a mission. So I'm really, really very impressed and I love him already. And today again, I'm feeling so blessed being connected with you, Sumit Upreti, and Dr. Martini is always here. Thanks to the universe and thanks to you all.
Most welcome, Sivaji. All right, so let's have one last sharing of the day. Who else would like to share? And we have Jay here. Hey, Jay, where were you, man? I wanted to bring you on for the sharing. Yes, here we go.
Hey, sorry, my mom had something. And first off, thank you so much. The 2 quick points. Extremely grateful that you guys have organized this and you keep pushing us out of our slumber. Second point is, I mean, his storytelling method is like, whoa.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah, mind-blowing. As a trainer, I am like, okay, I need to improve. And I could see you and Indu and your tears were rolling, my tears were rolling as well. And see, like, I am like, terrified to fight my own demons. I don't know if I'll be called on, but it's so difficult. I mean, every phrase, every sentence he uses is very, very high impact. And he's just like narrating examples, hedge fund person, 750 million. And if people with like a lot more smarter and, a lot more financial liquidity are changing their lives, like, I hope like, I'm really curious, really pumped. I haven't booked the hotel room, but I got my coffee, my notebook, everything is set. I don't think I'm prepared for my IIT or 10,000. But thank you so much. Once again, you've been the cause of why I wrote my WhatsApp message, love letter to my dad, and forever indebted to you guys. And I hope everybody else also takes maximum value.
Oh God, ये लड़का कितना credit देगा?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, so one last sharing by Imran, and I also want to bring in Imran to not just thank him, but also to inspire all of you to make sure that you attend with all your love, because we are literally learning together. So Imran, anything you want to say to the group, please?
Surely. As we always say, make sure that you keep your videos on, because keeping the video on will bring in a lot of accountability in your own participation. And one of the things I follow whenever I'm, learning from anybody is to keep the eye contact. I know the speaker is looking everywhere. He's trying to, make sure that his energy is spread across, but you make a point to have an eye contact, because there are some of the things which you get beyond the words is only when you connect with that person. And because I want you to feel every emotion, because today when he was sharing a certain story and things like that, if you don't connect with him on the emotional level, you don't get that. I know I'm a person who always makes people love to write and promote people to write, but I want you to restrict yourself and make only the points which is when he asks you to do an activity, and allow your subconscious to observe all the information and tell yourself you'll remember everything. Tell yourself you'll understand everything. You don't have to get busy transforming your notes book. You have to get busy transforming your own self.
Yeah.
Okay, because we all do this. We try to make notes and one find that the book is going to be closed and kept somewhere else. But no, I want you to be there and observe as much as possible. Transform yourself, not the material, not the book. And whenever he gives you an activity, go ahead and do it 100%. But when you're speaking, eye contact, not even a moment you're going to look here and there. Keep your notifications away. I know it's all basics, but I want you to do what I normally do, because whenever I attend Mitesh's session or any trainer or facilitator I'm attending, my connect with him is on an emotional level rather than just listening and watching him. So all the very best, and create an intention. You know what? I always also follow something. I know we all need specific things which we are looking as an outcome from the program, but how about going one step ahead? Certain things in our life may not be directly proportionate to the program or the specific outcome of the program, but bring in that in your head, on your paper, and attend the program with the clarity and the commitment that by the end of the 2 days, you get empowered enough to deal with any situation and scenarios in your life. Right. So why am I saying this is because don't have a very small outcome out of this program. No, this program is too big of a program to look out for a small outcome. You need to come with the bigger challenges we all have. And if you don't have one, create one and declare something bigger, so that out of this program, you want to become that. Like some of you want to become coaches, some of you want to start a multi-billion-dollar a company. You want to inspire people. You want to be available to millions of people and transforming their life. Create something bigger. Come attend the program and see how this program is going to help you manifest that. How this program is going to give you that finer details and the steps to create that. So that's all I want to say. I can go on and on, but you're in safe hands. So Mitesh is also there, and as he has assured us from the Platinum group, you're also going to get support from Mitesh. And those of you not in Platinum, do consider. And those of you who have not yet upgraded, do the upgradation and invest on your own self. And this is one of the best ways to value your own self and best utilization of money and time resources. Thank you, Mitesh and Induji, for this wonderful opportunity. And I'm super blessed to have you all.
Thank you. Thank you. So before we go, I and Indu, we are doing a Platinum membership webinar today evening at 6:30. It's about 20 minutes from now, where we're going to explain what Platinum membership is all about. 90% of you are already part Platinum, but those of you who are not yet part of Platinum and would love to know what is Platinum membership, join us today evening at 6:30 over here. And most importantly, get ready to blow your mind, because today evening in the Platinum membership, I'm going to be giving 2 big offers, which we've not given earlier. Thanks to all the existing Platinum members who've been able to make sure that this demartini course happens. So now that this is done, we're able to offer something absolutely amazing to the new Platinum members who join only today during the webinar. So make sure that you're here. The link is over here, miteshkhatri.com/platinum. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, you'll get the link in chat window as well. So thank you very much, everyone. Please make sure that you keep...
Before you just say bye, dear participants, if you're waiting for the manual and other instructions, keep a tab on your emails. So you'll be receiving all the emails, all the updates. So just make sure the moment you complete your registrations, or if you're already done, keep a check on your emails consistently now, because you get all your reminders, meeting ID on the email, including the manual.
Yes.
Thank you, Imran. Thanks for saying that. I was just going to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Let's unmute. Say, I'm ready and I love you to each other. Let's go.
I love you to each other.
Thank you all. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Nice.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you'll